Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday episode with my Canna Cast. I'm Can Dave.
And I'm Groovy.
On today's stream, we're gonna be talking about some outdated terms today. What do we think in the industry right now is some terms or knowledge that's being passed around that might be able to help change the overall direction. Like some terms we're talking about, like highest THC or the Indica Sativa or terps don't matter, and certain questions like that that are getting talked about within the industry. So I think that'd be like a great topic to talk about.
Yeah,
but first, that's
kind of what the idea was, I think, of today's topic, because like it's not necessarily that I think some of these terms are misused and outdated in how they were used. Not necessarily like the term is wrong. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
like that's why when we say the Indica Sativa thing, it's not wrong. I just don't want it to be such a whole such a open answer the way it is.
Well,
so.
it's pretty much what defines the categories when you're buying your product, right?
Mm-hmm.
When anytime you go to the dispo, I mean that's how you distinguish between the product is the Indica Sativa and this and that.
Right.
But before we get into all this, Groovy,
Yeah, because
I think
it's not. It's like well, there's more to it. We're not just knocking THC. We're not just knocking Indica Sativa. We're not. There's other. We're just saying it's about another perspective. So
correct.
Thoughts.
But let us know what you're smoking on, what you're dabbing on. We're about to be sparking up some. I mixed it. It was sherbet crossed with
Nice.
I think Baker's Dozen. I added. Nope.
Right.
Supersonic. wrong. We got that. Probably gonna do a dab or two tonight. Kicking back. We did a couple reviews that will be coming out. Some rosin. One of them will be in the new episode tomorrow. That will be dropping at 4:20. Great reviews on some new, not new, I guess, because we've tried the brand before, Groovy,
Right.
but different growers in each of the rosin that we bought. So
Yeah, and by the way, we just want to say shout out to DNK. Much
Yes.
love DNK. We just dropped the Sour Animal video. We love them. They're one of our big sponsors, so we believe in them. They believe in us. So just check out DNK Growers at your local dispo. Check out some of our social posts. You can catch them at Ypsilanti.
Wellflower, Burnt Cannabis,
Check it out.
Holistic, Kalamazoo Holistic or something like that along those lines.
Yeah.
But- And they also just released their Capital Kush too.
And you wanna talk about the wax we just tried?
Yeah, let me pull that one out.
So the wax we just tried, Canna Dave actually just tried taking some of his flour and pressing it down. If anyone's ever done that before, please share us. Let us know.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. You know, I know it's not the hash rosin
You
or
got
whatnot.
right where the ashtray is. The ashtray's like in it. So
Oh, we don't want the ashtray in it. Let me get it. It's this one.
there you go, dog.
I want to show the pressure.
There you go. Oh yeah. Boom. So cool. And it's flour rosin. So
Yeah,
right?
this is flower rosin. It wasn't. We just pushed it. I was at a buddy's. This is actually from yesterday, and you want to know what's crazy about this flower? This one, the pressure out of all the stuff I've pressed so far, because now I'm like going through and I'm trying to see what press is best and what tastes best, and going in that direction, right? The pressure didn't taste like the pressure flower at all. Like the Bangerang tastes like the Bangerang, or even better in my opinion. The Kush Mints, the Oakland Kush Mints, literally taste like the flower of the Oakland Kush Mints.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and the
That's
apples
cool.
and bananas with the gelato, it tasted like that strain. Like even our buddy says, like, "God, it's got a nice gelato taste to it," and that's in it too. So like the pressure was the only oddball one out, which I was kind of like surprised with, because I was expecting it to be banging, because I love the flower of it. So you dabbed it. What did you think of it, Groovy?
I thought it tasted very different, and that's one thing I always love about doing rosin or doing wax versus smoking the flower is once you lose that flower added flavor, right? That added terpene, that added flavor, it's a different effect. It's a whole different experience when you're dabbing. You know what I mean?
No, 100%, man. So
So,
we got
yeah.
that one. I'll pull out another one. This one's a little bit more on. Here you go. You can hit the joint. We'll dab some of
please
this up.
share, comment, like. We love to hear from you. Appreciate sharing in groups too. If we're not a part of them, we love meeting new people. So.
Yeah, bring them to the community. It's always a great time chatting it up. But this right here, this was a little bit older bud. right? And this came out to be the Kush Mints, the Oakland Kush Mints. So let me get this up on camera.
Right on, right on. See, that's cool. And like, and then you know where it came from. That's your shit. You know what I mean? Like, it does look darker. It almost reminds me of like a shatter. You know what I mean? Like, and my big thing is like we've seen darker rosin, so I wonder if sometimes that lower shelf darker rosin is flower, not from
flower.
washed.
But also too though, here's the thing: like if you're washing, like when you're growing the buds, like the trichomes, like as they get more amber. That's what usually a telltale sign that you can chop the plant. The longer you let the plant go, the more amber the trichomes get. In flower, when you're smoking the bud, you don't want to get them too milky white, right? You usually let the plant go through the whole process of fulfilling the flowers and going through the end of its cycle, right? When you're making rosin and you see that lighter texture color, if I'm not mistaken, you're pulling the product a couple weeks earlier because that's when they have the more milky trichomes. And then you're washing it, and then you're pressing it, and that's how you're getting that beautiful color. But this, yes, it is a little bit darker. The bud's a little bit older. So, but it's also flower rosin though as well too. So flower rosin and hash rosin are gonna be different, right? And eventually, now I want to get to I do want to do some hash rosin eventually now too. Do some.
There you go. I
ice
see. You
cold.
go.
So.
That's cool to see you doing that.
Fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, starting to dabble in it.
Got to experiment. You're just now. You've been growing for a while, so it's cool to see you go into the wax world.
Trying something different.
Well, we see all these facilities now, just growing and just processing and all that shit. So it's kind of like wild,
That's what I think, and as not technology, but as like home cultivation and home growers want to see what their product does, like, because you want to, like, eventually you're going to find your staple genetics that like you're going to like, that you would probably grow and you'd keep for certain reasons. Maybe
your
it's a daytime
favorites.
use, maybe it gives you the munchies, maybe it helps you sleep, helps you with pain, and then you want to find the ones that actually do your concentrates or your oil good. I mean, each one comes back different,
Yeah.
Like the pressure that we pressed was only like an eighth, right? So it wasn't like it was maybe 4 grams. It wasn't that much bud, and it looked like it pulled decent. That's cool. Decent return on it. So
that's cool.
It's fun just dabbling, man, trying different things. But and that's differences and stuff within. I mean, flower rosin and like education. It goes right in the topic, outdated terms, but it just goes with like terminology. Like flower rosin is different than hash rosin. People might not understand the difference, but there's a.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how. I didn't even know it for that long. I feel like that's relatively new knowledge. Like learning about because when we started seeing shops and started learning that amber color comes from different factors, whether it be pulling the plant early or washing it or when they wash, like light deprivation. There's so many factors, right, to that amber color, right? But yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, and we want to hear your like thoughts on outdated terms, and if there's any like terms that you're like, hey, what do you think of this? Like, let's start a combo. Like, we just have a few to get us started because these are some of the highlight ones, and like I don't want to say like the big ones, but it's the ones I hear all the time. And again, there's many ways to think about it. I'm not saying we're right. Some of this stuff is just fascinating, because there's a difference, and that's why I always think this plant affects everyone differently. Is stuff like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually. I was on LinkedIn today, and I'll kick it off with this. And there's like a thread going on, and it was high. What?
The highest THC.
Yeah, high. Is there?
Yes. It was
that's hilarious.
Yes,
and
it's like we planned it.
Yeah, exactly. The highest THC is like top importance in the industry right now. Like, there's no like when you go in. I'd be curious if like we could get a bud tender on Groovy and ask them, hey, what is. Are you asked this question a lot? Organic, non-organic, or you just what's the highest THC? Like, are you off? Are you asked, hey, let me hear these terps or try these terps, specific terps? Because I'm just curious if what questions are being asked in the dispo? Because in my mind, like the number one thing that I see, like just through threads and different things, is highest THC, right? Like that's the number one thing. That's the number one seller. I mean, that's even what growers some were looking for the industry at a time, because that's what the people wanted. If the consumers want high THC, that you're gonna try to find those exact strains that are high THC. So in my opinion, I mean, it'd be great if we could get to where we have the education where high THC is great, it's good, it's gonna help, but there's tons of different strains that you can look at that might provide even a better overall value or effect to you by trying those out. And that's all. I mean, that's all I want to talk about, because like high THC, people are like, oh, it tested at 33%. Oh, like, okay, that's good, that's great. But like, how's the flavor? How does it smoke? What's in it? Is it organic, non-organic? Is it, like what people like to know different things, and I think those are valuable questions to have asked, right?
No, 100%, 100%.
I just want to try it. Right?
No, I mean, like, and that's kind of like why we put highest THC. Does it matter to you? We're just curious what everyone thinks about highest THC. Now, and this is the thing about, for my opinion on this, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it kind of does a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't think that if I pick up something that's like 26% and I smoke something that's 19, that I'm going to get miraculously higher from that one, unless it like smells great, it breaks down nice. Like I have that whole list of things, right?
Mm-hmm. No, you got your little tier system that you have.
Smell matters to me a lot, where if it doesn't smell good to me, a lot of times I won't even think about it. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm like, thanks. Like, it's just something to that. If I'm not, like, attracted to the smell, then I don't know if I'm going to be attracted to the taste. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you think it's pushing away? Like, think about the cultivators that might not be hitting those numbers, but their bud's tasty as hell. Do you think that's pushing away the consumers away from them? Because
say that again.
Okay, because say you're going in the dispo, and they're like, what are you looking for? I'm looking for flower. And it's like, oh, okay, this one's tested at 33, or let's go realistic, 28. 27 and 23, right? Mm-hmm. The top two THCs right now, I guarantee probably like 75% of consumers would probably go with it. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Right. I mean,
but do you think what about the cultivators, the growers that aren't hitting 28, 27, but they're hitting 23, 24? Do you think they're getting passed over because of high THC, and there's not enough education on it? Because like,
well, again, all this is circumstantial to what the user wants, right? Mm-hmm. THC is associated with the overall strength in the psychological effects, which, again, when it comes down to that, just that feeling of that like slight delay or whatever you want to call that psychological effect, that's THC like working, right? So there is some effect to it. But like, I've smoked weed where I felt that, right? Like I felt high, the THC, but I didn't enjoy it because it tasted, I didn't like it. Right, so the whole thing was frustrating me.
Yeah.
Right, or it kept burning out. So sure, I'm high, but then I'm not even in the mood that I say is like I'm in a good high. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
and you want that good high though. You want that fun high. You want that relaxing high. You want that.
Luxuriously dope. What's up, fam? Good seeing you, man.
What's going on, everybody?
See, for me, that's my purd for cannabinoid, THC. But it's not the only thing that matters. But I do enjoy THC.
Oh, I love THC. Don't get me wrong at all. I love it.
And there's a market for tasty weed. Yes, and that's me. Like, to be honest, and it's honestly, I don't even know if it's tasty weed, but it's more. That's why I fell in love with rosin. Right? It's just the different flavors, and I'm still getting that psychological effect. Right? I'd rather just take a couple little dabs and it tastes really good. Some people want one little dab and they want to be lit. They don't even care what it tastes like, then you should do the diamonds, the full spectrum diamonds,
I mean, you're going to get lit real quick.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, no, I appreciate it. I think there's a market for tasty weed. I really think it's each their own when it comes to, and that's the thing, even mids, and that's a very good point that I always, like, some people, and that was actually another myth that we were going to bring up, like, is cheap weed bad weed? And that's kind of like, I want to talk about that because it is, but it's not too, if that's what you need, right? It's like, there's some myths. Well, and honestly, dude, I've had bud that, listen, we'll get into that later. I don't want to get into that because I have a couple things on that. Like,
you're good, man. Bring it up.
Right. So, remind me, cheap weed. But yeah, thank you, Dope, for saying that. Oh, cheers. What's up, Tita? What up, fam?
I mean, honestly, we just go right into cheap weed right now if you want.
Well, I feel like we haven't even finished THC. I'd love to hear more thoughts on THC if you could share this, because I really, really want to know what people think. Oh, I'm so sick and tired of hearing indica gummies, sativa gummies. Oh, we're getting there.
Who said that? I love it.
Andy said that. That's the next one. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's a couple of these things that people just like yeah, and it's just like kind of like a different. I don't want to say. Okay. So when we're talking, I probably should start with Indica Sativa, but when you're talking THC, Indica Sativa, these are like the most general terms, right?
I mean, that's a
and
basic
cannabis, right? How it's grown, right? How, it makes sense. These are that's a psychological
but
fact.
no, but not even the grown part. Like if you, in my opinion, if you reverse back, go back years, right? Years. Not when we're 18, 19, just smoking whatever we could get, man. Remember?
Right.
Remember when we first started going to dispos and the medical era and the West Coast was coming to Michigan?
Yep.
And when we started going to dispos, I think that's when we started all hearing Indica Sativa and high THC. That's like what happened. Like that, there wasn't, no one talked about growing. It's pretty much how you explain it. I remember when I was working at Helping Hands, and the whole thing we talked about Indica in the couch sativa is like,
because generally that makes sense. Generally that is generally,
but it goes to the growth, right? Generally, but it's
when you're first starting, dude, there is a whole thing that there's like you get used to that psychological effect, right? You get used to that THC, and that's why I don't necessarily lean into that, because it's just like it just feels like it takes me more and more weed to get high, right?
Yep.
So like I lean into the flavor personally because that's what I like, right? That's what I personally like. I like it to just taste good. That puts me in the best mood, right? I don't know why, but
Amen.
I just think, but that's what I was gonna say. But if I'm gonna get some diamonds, I don't want some 76% diamonds, right? I want like 99% diamonds. So THC does matter. It's just time and place. So
100%, dude. 100%.
So and then
Dope's got true. Everything going to is a hybrid now. Pretty much did kill everything.
Exactly.
But like, I think it goes off of like even the terps, because I've had people smoke like it's just like how the body reacts, right? And how your body consumes or the terpene,
right? And like, dude, the personalities, dude, like if you're ADHD, it's gonna affect someone differently who is, I don't know,
like if you're on limonene, high limonene, high terpene, you would expect it to be more of an upper. But I've talked to people when they've had more of like couch lock, go to sleep, like when they're having that. So it just affects everybody differently. And that's always the great thing about cannabis.
Well, but okay, so now we can get into this.
Yeah.
Because the Indica Sativa terms, right? Everyone talks about Indica Sativa. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like there's definitely oh geez.
I say it all the time. I still try to get out of it.
Pressed the wrong
myself.
button. I'm like not paying attention to that button. Whoops.
Nice.
Just put up the title for some reason. Anyways, surprise. Gotcha.
And we're out.
All right, but no, but the next one is, Indica Sativa. What does it mean to you? Like, what do those mean to you? What is and like, does that mean anything? Do you think they become general? And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with these terms.
It's a general term.
I just think exactly you're talking about. Yeah, you're still generally. I think there's nothing wrong with using these terms. I just think I wish there was. The bud tenders would respond with, "Hey, that's actually how it's grown, right?" So there will be ones that there's more of that sedative effect, and there's more of that head high effect. And I think that's kind of where the disconnect was, because they are similar explanations. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with it per se, but just the term Indica Sativa referred to how it was grown and how long it was grown. And like Luxuriously Dope just said, the fact that it's like hybridization has changed the game. So it's like, can we even say that? Like the grower would know. Anything past that is like, it's just how does it affect you?
Yeah, that's what it goes to at that point, is how's it going to affect you. Andy's got a fun, kind of funny point. He goes, is it like education stopped a year after medical cleared?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, Logan just said that too on IG. Is that agreed? Indica Sativa really doesn't exist anymore with crossing so much genetics. I can't even remember the last time I had a legit OG Kush. Like, yeah, right. You're not going to have like some of these old strains. They're hard to get hands on nowadays. You know what I mean? What's up, Kush Grows? How you smoking today? Imagine, say, if you need to feel uplifted, then you get sued because Red Bull gives you wings. Wait, man, say, hold on. I must have missed something here. You can't tell the talking, and then the chatting is on the YouTube or the Facebook. We really appreciate you, everyone. We love you. All the shares, comments, appreciate it. IG.
Yeah, what are you guys all smoking on this Tuesday evening, or dabbing, eating?
Some people can't. Okay, you can't tell people how they will feel though, and I guess that's kind of what I was trying to say. Is just because it's Indica Sativa, it doesn't mean you can be like, yeah, this is gonna put you in the couch, right? Like I used to always associate a certain smell with sativa, right? Until more info came out on the internet, and I learned, right? I was wrong. Your thinking can be wrong. It's no big deal. It's just ignorance is lacking the information. You get the information, and then you choose to decide, ignore it. Then that's when we like become stupid, right? So. My whole point is, I I used to only say indica, indica, indica. I didn't know what the hell. I used to, indica, indica. That's what I thought was the shit. I didn't know.
Team Indica.
But then you start realizing, why do you really smoke? When you first start smoking weed, we all love it because of the THC. No one ever hits it and is like, wow, that smells like lemon cherry gelato. Listen, I showed someone the most lemon smelling flower I've ever seen. He doesn't smoke. And he was like, yeah, it smells like weed, dude. And I was like, you don't smell the lemons? They're like, dude, what? And I was yeah, lemons. But like, some people don't get that. And it has to do with how much you use cannabis.
True.
You know what I mean?
And how much you
So that's like so weird about this term. It's not wrong. It's not right. It's just used improperly.
I would agree. I mean, and it's just how I think where the industry started back when, like I was saying just a couple minutes ago, from back in 2010, 2011, when Dispo started opening, and the main thing was like, hey, this is Indica Sativa. It's different. I think we should, now that we're getting more legal, I think we should be changing it to talk about more of the cannabinoids, more of the terpenes, more of what else is in the plant that's giving the effects, like the flavonoids, like different things that can help us. Like CBG, I think would be great to see more of, or was that CBN that's good for sleep? You had
right. Keep going. No, I was just gonna say, but I feel like everyone perceives it differently because we're all built different. Like our bodies are physically different, how our brain works is different. You know what I mean? So thinking that weed's gonna hit someone like you, very calm, well, not very calm, but you know what I mean, different person than me, it's gonna affect us differently. Mm-hmm. It's just like people who drink versus people who smoke. It just everything affects everyone differently. Oh, see, look at we literally just got it in the chat. Luxuriously Dope just said everyone's endocannabinoid receptors are different. It's a physical brain thing. See. Like, I didn't know. Endocannabinoid receptors. That makes complete sense. I just said how we work, but that makes more sense.
Feel that. 100%.
So, thank you. Luxuriously LD with the win right here. Because that's the perfect way to say it. Is like, when we're built differently, how do we expect it to affect us the same? Like, you can't.
That's why it's trial and error. That's why you're going to have those experiences where you might have a bad
you've caught the bud tender who's like so confident how it's going to affect you. You know what I mean? They're not just a bud tender I'm picking on. It's just anyone. It's just they're
told to sell the product. Like that's literal.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's why I said I don't mean to pick on bud tenders. I'm just saying someo's been like, this is going to knock you out.
I mean,
and then it makes you wake up. No, I'm just saying sometimes like that's all.
I don't mean to, but don't mean to.
It's relatable. People understand talking to bud tenders, I feel like.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to the legal market, you're dealing with specific bud tenders on the daily, weekly, monthly, whenever you're going, however often you're re-upping.
And he said it's like education stopped a year after. Yeah. Did you say that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's like honestly true. It's like it just completely like you see some companies that, and I think we talk about this in our episode tomorrow, that pass testing like medically. So their product can be sold adult use, but like, you know what I'm saying? And then just on the adult use market, like medical has stringent testing. And with that, it's tougher to pass your flower through it. So I think a lot of the companies that are in adult use and they're talking about that, that's great to see that because like those companies still have that medical belief, that medical moral, and they're still providing that probably through their grows and what they're doing, giving adult use as well too.
Okay. Right. All right. I get that.
Just my opinion.
No, I mean I get it. You come from a different. You're in it for a different reason, too. I
mean, the industry is going to be interesting. I mean.
What do you mean?
With Croptober and then the price of pound drop, just that type of stuff. It's going to be interesting what's going to happen to a bunch of these companies that are operating. Are they gonna have to lay off people? Is their crops going good? I mean, you have all the stuff that's just going on with that in the industry. That's all I meant by it. I don't want to go into that topic today, but
no, I hear you. No, I mean, it is crazy.
So, I mean, TW goes, I don't refer to them as bud tenders anymore. They're sales associates.
No, I can't give you the cheers because there are some good bud tenders out there, but damn, with the left and right hook in one comment. Like, because, I mean, dude, I get it, though, because a lot of the industries become like that, especially if you're buying recreational. I get it. I get it. Not my words, but I hear what you're saying. I don't know. Because a lot of people,
What's up, John?
some people are just on the iPad. They don't necessarily know, or not even tried the product. Because then you hear the bud tenders like, oh, I get like 8% discount. Okay, that's exaggerating, but you know what I mean. It's just some low amount where it's like, really, how do you not get an okay discount? Like, you work here, don't you think you'd sell it better, or at least pass out like a sample? Like, I don't know how that would work. How does that work?
I wonder if the vendors give I bet you the vendors might give samples.
Shouldn't you?
Like, I would give them to some of the bud tenders maybe, or they're trying the product because like they're the ones that are selling, like sales associate, bud tender, whatever. I love the term bud tender. I think it's a cool name. So I'll stick with it.
John just said he had a bud tender say there's no difference between indicas and sativa. Well, what they could have said is, hey, most things have become hybrids, which is true. There is a difference between indica and sativa. So that is, again, misinformed. And that's kind of like the unfortunate thing, is that there isn't like a standard, right, to being a bud tender. Really, it's just like it's just a sales job. A lot of places it is. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but if you'll see, I think in time you'll see more people who become enthused in the cannabis industry are going to want to work as in some part of either the retail to grow and talk about it.
John said no. He said weed was all alike and it didn't matter what I bought. Oh, well, that's very. Whoa.
Dang.
You know what he's going to get? Have to give him that after that. That's a hell of a statement.
Dang, is that out in, is that a Florida shop?
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Again, misinformation, man. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, because that is unfortunate. Because then you're going to, even when it's adult use, you're going to have people in there their first time. They're going to try cannabis that they haven't tried it. I'm talking older people, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They're going to want to try a new product. Or people that have been trying product and they're excited to try other stuff. Like, you got to be able to educate. And like, that's, if the industry brings the education to it, like, more and more, like, not just like like what we've talked about, the highest THC you're trying to sell for that. Right. I think like you'll be able to, we'll see more of a leap because we'll be fighting for, hey, let's break down some of these barriers and start doing research on the plant. Like I keep saying, like there's so much stuff with it. There's so many cannabinoids in the cannabis plant that we don't know about.
Yeah, we haven't even figured them out.
Like,
yet.
Imagine what one of those could do. What if like one of them could cure cancer or something, like in high extreme
doesn't
amounts of
RSO kind
oil?
of help with that?
Pretty
it doesn't
much.
cure,
right.
But I mean,
like, so there's just so much stuff. Like, that's what we should be going for right now, is trying to find out and educate more and understand the plant more. Because like, as that comes, like we are with terpenes right now. I mean, we're starting to talk about terpenes. I mean, that's what we even talked Terp Talk Tuesday. Yeah, is to talk terpenes, and we're like, that's becoming, you're starting to see that more on a trend in the industry. You're seeing that more on what's it called, packaging. Seeing more companies talk about terpenes, talking about flavors. Like, it's good to see that happening because you're getting away from just the indica sativa, because when you're talking about the terpenes and you start understanding the terpenes, you understand the effects that they have, and then that kind of helps you with indica sativa as well, because like we've talked about, they're mostly all hybrid nowadays. Unless you have a straight landrace strain, then more than likely it's a pretty much 50-50,
and that's why, again,
60-40.
I used to say indica sativa when I started, and now that I've come throughout years and years of talking to people and learning, now I just say sedative and head high, like head butt. Like, again, you can describe it however you want, but that's kind of what I mean, is that like uppity feeling. I call it head buzz. Like,
well, it's in your head. Yeah, no doubt. I feel that. It's like straight in the head.
Yes, sir. Well, cool, man. Yeah, you want to give a shout out?
Yeah. Shout out to DNK out in Lansing, Michigan. Here's a behind the scenes of the Sour Animal that me and Groovy exclusively love. Yes, sir. It's got a backcross of sour diesel in there, so it brings us back probably to like 2008, 2009 when we were probably smoking the diesel. So here's behind the scenes of their Sour Animal. And then also shout out to Erebus, the haunted house out in Pontiac. Obviously Pontiac, Michigan. Number one haunted house in Michigan. So come in. Yeah. Check them out. See if you can get through it. I couldn't. So I'll say it this time. I couldn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, that stuff trips me out. I can watch movies, but that stuff trips me out. But let's get into
shout out. And they're great. Shout out, fam. Shout out.
Sour Animal is our most popular strain that we carry at DNK. It is a classic. So if you're a big fan of sour diesel, really strong, gassy smell, real high THC. We've had it tested as much as 30%. Obviously, we know that that's not everything that makes Sour Animal such a popular strain. It has, like I said, a really strong gassy note, followed up with a little bit of that citrus on the end. Great smoke. It is a sativa dominant. So when we got it, it's sour diesel crossed with animal cookies, and then again crossed back with sour diesel to really give that sour flavor. We think that's kind of something unique to the flavor profile, and in the marketplace seems to be really popular. For us, it's kind of that throwback strain, kind of one of those originals that really kind of caught fire. So we want to kind of give a little tribute to sour diesel, but kind of give it a 2.0, if you will, coming into 2022.
I've done it.
Popular strain that we carry at DNK. It is a classic.
My time travel lab, disguised as a haunted house. Screens are normal here, and I need more test subjects to finalize my work. Bring in the crowds. The portals are open. Erebus, it's about time. Travel. Buy tickets at hauntedpontiac.com.
Yo.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I wasn't even ready.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Comes
So
back
I
so
hit
quick.
playlist and it messed all sorts of stuff up here. I don't know what happened on Instagram. Sorry. For some reason you didn't get one of them. Sorry, this is a new button I'm trying to mess with. Oh yeah, you're getting it now. So we're probably talking over it. This is Erebus. It's awesome. It's really weird how it played. I don't know. I'm trying to new things.
We got a couple comments while we went there. Drew mentioned good vendors give samples and education about the product. Totally would agree with that, because that's helping the bud tenders, and then the bud tenders will be able to pass that knowledge on to the consumers.
Right.
And then John said he orders online from TrueLive and pick it up already prepared.
Okay. Right on.
I got you. That's really rude though, as someone to say that in industry, especially because Florida's not even adult use yet. They're still medical, right? I mean, they're just medical. So, like, if you don't think there's any difference, I mean, that's interesting, because I mean, there's definitely a difference in my opinion. What about you, Groovy?
Oh, dude, no shit. I mean, come on. Between Indica Sativa, there's a difference between every strain, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm caught off guard on that. It's like, dang, I'd leave him a bad review. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
But shame on that employee, man. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. That's unfortunate. Again. But you want to take a dab? Let's take a dab.
Yeah. I if does anyone else have any other terms? I did want to talk about the cheap bud. I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know. I just do you think bud that is low costing automatically means it's bad? Do you not even look at low shelf bud anymore? Because I'll still look. I like to look at some stuff, but like, realistically having, you're getting bud from someone that's not dispo, it's like it's not a big deal. But I smell every rosin. I don't look at, like, especially nowadays, like $30 rosin might be good stuff. You know what I mean? So I'll look at it.
I mean, yeah.
So
I mean, we've seen a bunch recently for that price range, 35, 40. So overall, I mean, the price of rosin's dropped. For flower, like pre-roll wise, or just flour in a jar?
Either or, I don't know. I don't
Because
really,
pre-roll,
not really
no,
be, I don't really,
I won't pay $3 for a pre-roll because I don't trust that bud at all. Not saying a $20 pre-roll is good either, but I mean, dude, our sponsor sells a quality product at 25 an eighth, all at retail. I mean, that's retail price for like consumers. I think that's very reasonable for a price of flour that's very tasty and gives you a nice effect of what you're looking for.
Well, then when you add on these taxes that everyone adds, it's still affordable for the end user, right? If you charge $50, but if you charge $50, $60 on the adult use market, how many people can really go buy an eighth a day and just blow a tree and have fun? Like, they're smoking like bong hits. Like, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, dude, there's no way I could spend $60.
Well, then you add in tax.
On
that's
flour.
like 65, 70. What is that? $70+ an eighth. You know what I mean? So it's like
68, right?
How do you expect the people to even use your product if you charge that much? Because you do have to think about taxes. I know it sucks, but because it's not their overhead, but it's something they have to consider.
So I'm not gonna say cheap bud is bad. So
I just wanted to
like,
clarify because some people will be
pre-roll wise, like some of these I've seen, like I don't even want to name them, but like they're pre-rolls for like $3. I'm like, oh man, like I mean, I see why it's there. It's
a different market.
Exactly.
And that's all I wanted to point out.
It is.
Exactly. Because dude, I'm not going to lie to you. Some people even tell me that they're like, I don't like the 10 for 100 type of wax. I mean, I used to survive off that. Like, you know what I mean? The 6 for 100s, like, and that's, if you look for the right companies and find the right deals, they're still pretty solid. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've never looked at it as cheap as bad quality. I just wanted to point that out because I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, it's cheap weed, so it must be bad product. You don't know until you try it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is you got to try the brand. I mean, there's there's good brands that are selling their product at decent levels. I mean, decent pricing that you're able to see. You just got to be able to trust it. And if you don't like it, then I wouldn't buy I mean, I always say give another brand a try or two, but there's some brands out there like the MCMA that I wouldn't really try. Wouldn't recommend to try. So, but dab if anyone's dabbing.
And again, John just said, thank you for this information on the endocannabinoid system. He said some really useful information here, actually. It says it has 3 cannabinoid receptors. CB1 is nervous system, CB2 is immune, CB3 is scattered throughout your body, but mostly in the cerebellum, the brain, back of the spine, I think, somewhere over there, and controls motor functions. But, like, again, that still adds up to what we were talking about earlier about luxuriously dope when we talked about Indica Sativa, like, you know, is that such a specific term? It's not. It's general because, again, all of our endocannabinoid receptors are built differently. Just like all of our brains are built, our personalities are built differently, you know. And that comes down to one of our last topics, but we'll get there in a second, about the entourage effect, but we'll get in that in a second. But yeah, I truly don't think that low quality, like cheaper product means bad anymore. And I just really want to point that out because there was a time where I would have said the $50, $60 an eighth stuff was the highest quality. And it was. I really, truly think it was for a while. Everyone knew they could mark up. Like when the legal market like just hit 2018, day 2, it was like $60 an eighth. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, Skyman was selling for $60.
But see,
Green Peak at the time, technically, it wasn't even Skyman. Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right, though. You are absolutely right, though. But that was supply and demand. That's what I'm saying. Like earlier, I was like, it's gonna be interesting. You have what's it called that just hit Croptober? We're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Prices. We'll see what happens to prices.
So yeah, and that's it's just crazy. That's the thing with prices right now too dropping. It's like it's not even. Everything's kind of just cheaper. And then when there is that $50, $60 eighth bud, I'm like, why?
You're just have to find the brands, in my opinion, with the grain of salt, that like you like the flavors that they have, maybe what they're doing in the community, maybe what they're doing for cannabis, maybe their back history, maybe they're coming from the legacy market. Like there's gonna be other things that are going to sway the customer or sway myself to like purchasing their product, right? I mean, there's a lot of good product like out on the market, right? You know, there's decent product in each category right now. So,
yeah.
I mean, like rosin, your diamonds, your flower.
Yeah.
Like
see, Tito says free brands I know and I like, and that's kind of what you stick to. And that's why we always say, even in our reviews, like if we don't like one of their things, we'll try it again. Maybe look for a different one. Try their wax. Try something else that they do, right? Because maybe it's just that one. They went bad. Like I even from a home grower, my homie, like some of your shit I was like, this is great. Macamalata. I mean, our other buddy just straight up called it trash right to Dave's face, and you should have. He was just like, it's like, anyways, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's true.
Yeah, he said it just straight. I was like, hey.
One word, trash. First hit. We're like, whoa.
I know.
Ow.
Never let that down. Kyle.
What's up, Native? How's it going, fam?
For me, for the wax brands, I've been branching out a little bit because now I've been getting into some rosin, so I've been trying different brands. But once I find like my 1, 2, 3 brands, I'm probably gonna stick to them. You know, I'm like, honestly, like I dig that. Like,
yeah.
That is eventually how sometimes it happens as you're figuring out which products you like. But when you're going into like if you're trying edibles, you might try like 5 different companies' gummies, right, and see which one you like best before you're like, that's the one I want to get.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
Like, what's one of like your go-to edibles? Mine'd be like covert cups.
Me?
Yeah. Random.
Really not a big. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would say it's an edible. I mean, the only edibles are really the ones I was eating with those CBD ones.
Okay. Actually, here we got a great
tinctures,
question
really.
From Jimmy Touchdown. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining tonight.
fam?
He goes, "Hey guys, so I'm a 40-year-old flower guy. Could you tell me the difference between that and wax?"
Like a flower and wax?
Yeah,
Is that what
flower
we're
and
saying?
wax. Yeah.
You want to go?
Yeah. So like, flower obviously is the flower that's grown from the plant, and then the wax is more of, I would say, the consistency or the process that is the concentrated form of just the oils of the plant, the THC.
Yep.
the
So-
trichome.
So yeah, I just want to add on to that because you're not wrong. I just think wax is a slang term for a concentrated cannabis. So whether it be hash rosin, meaning it was hash and then it was pressed using heat and pressure, or if it was something like using BHO, like a wax using which you'll hear live resin, sugars, all these sorts of terms. They're essentially different ways to refer to BHO wax, which is just has solvents, basically other types of gases and elements added to it, and then purged or were taken out and then that's when it's like clean. They say that's the cleaner process. You know, I love the rosin, the press, the natural, because whatever's in there is in there. But again, there's nothing wrong. They're all just different. Diamonds are cool. Rosin's cool. So when you hear someone say wax, it just means concentrated cannabis, which could be of various types from different sources.
And it's usually testing like above 50%. Like most stuff's hitting 50%, while your flowers, like up to 28%, I would say. So it's like a lot more. It's going to hit you.
Faster.
It's definitely right then and there for sure. And it's for some, the first couple times you do a dab, it might be a lot because it's a lot of THC at once. Like you can smoke back to back joints, but if you take a fat rip of a dab, it just is I think a little bit definitely different of effect. Like unless you get like that cough like from like you hit, I don't know, but like when I take a fat rip, I don't get that from like flower. You know, like if I take a old school fat rip, heat up the nail, that's like,
I feel you.
That just hits different,
Yeah. So,
but you only need a little bit though, and that's the good thing with it. You're not smoking as much, and you're not smoking all the plant material with the flower. You're just smoking. Is it cheaper cost or more than costing?
you dab like me? Just kidding.
Yeah,
You dab like me, it ain't no cheaper. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it depends on.
It depends on how much you smoke. I would have to say, because like,
I forgot I have wax right here.
yeah, I gave you some. Because I don't know how much like flower it would range to like a dispo price, because like, no, go. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say it all really varies on what you're paying for everything, because it's like I've heard, it's like to someone who grows cannabis and you're growing all the time, like obviously your flower's cheaper than you going to process your stuff, like paying someone or going to the dispo and buy it. But it's like, I feel like there's different uses. For me personally, like how I use flower, is when I'm like trying to calm down, relax. I'm done with my day, or maybe I'm starting off a day that I can just ease into it. My brain, that's the way I like using cannabis, right? Like being more in a relaxed mindset. I think dabs, there's something to that instantaneous. Like I feel that effect that I can just be like, all right, I got that feeling out of my way. Now let me just do my thing. But that took some time, the first, the first, and then I was also taking giant dabs. I vary, but a lot of times I'm just taking little dabs to kind of like feel the effects, do my thing, maybe write some music, like whatever.
Your tolerance does increase, and Tito brought that up. Like your tolerance does increase with it. Like sometimes just a joint you might not get, you'll get pretty high still from a joint, but if you become a heavy dabber, I'm curious, does it affect you a little bit?
That's a great way to put it. T-Dub said, starting out dabbing, it'll be cheaper because you're tolerant, and then as your tolerance will increase. And it's probably that, like, really to be good at it is that balance between, like, doing it a little bit to the stopping and doing it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, really, it's probably the mix. Like, if you just didn't dab all day, and just, like, smoke some joints. Well, that's why I've been trying to just smoke flower.
You gotta mix it up, man. You gotta get a good dose of flower in there. And then like you dab.
I just getting so much rosin and stuff there for a while, and just trying new stuff. Like before I know it, you go down this huge like tunnel But now I feel you because now I'm on the other end and I've like tried most of the rosins, this and the that, you know, where now it's like, okay, time and place. You know what I mean? If you want to like, if you're around family and it's Christmas time, like, right, if I'm going to visit my family, it's nice being able to just like rip a dab and I'm like lit and I don't got to spend 30 minutes hiding away going to smoke a joint. You know what I mean?
That's true. No,
so it's like they're really exactly concentrates it, wax, whatever you want to call it, has brought a whole new realm to it. And like that's why again, this is something that like honestly it's kind of an outdated term saying like one's better, one's gets you more high. It's like, are you smoking an eighth of a joint? Are you taking a little tiny dab? Like what are you doing? Like it's always so relative. Like I don't know if I could actually say one's gonna get you more fucked up. How big's your dab? How big are your joints? If you're already rolling up 3 gram joints, your tolerance might be pretty solid. You know what I mean? Like shout out Berg, but he rolls up these like forearms, you know what I mean? Every time I see him, he's got these big bats, and like that's cool. But that's his talent, right? That's flower, right? Like,
nice.
You know, definitely. He's got, you know, he smokes some bats, right? But he, you know, my dabs, you know, it's just relative, I think, to the user.
Challenge accepted. I'm ready.
Like I smoke smaller joints than you, but I feel like if it really came back, we just went dab for dab. Like I don't know. I don't even think I'd feel like I don't even think I'd be fine. I think we're like, here we go.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, it's a call out now. The out smoke competition, the out dab. Just that's so.
Dang,
funny.
calling me out. Let's go.
That's silly.
But that's funny.
Yeah, no worries, Jimmy. Yeah, we appreciate it. That's the point of these streams too, to talk about things. And this one was just some outdated terms. So, and we use the word outdated so people would, you know, chime in and see if there's anything else, because not to say outdated, but misused. The outdated being the only terms.
Yeah.
You know, now people talk about, hey, the CBG, I want some CBD today, I want CBN. There's so much more of the plant, and, you know, it's just that, you know, like Andy said, generally the user does want THC.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that is true. I just want to say I appreciate it.
They just want to feel high.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Love it.
No, but everyone, we're dropping our new episode tomorrow, 420. It'll be available on all your streaming platforms, on YouTube as well. And we got a review coming up. It's the Fifth Age rosin we review. Blanking on which one it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I think it was the Super Boof, actually. It was a Super Boof. So we review the Super Boof collab. So check that out. Appreciate you all tuning in, hanging out with us on your Tuesday night. If you ever have questions like that, just bring them up in the chat. We always appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy, for bringing that up.
I like it, T-Dub. T-Dub said, "MI Canna Cast Dab Wars." That'd be so fun. I don't know how we do it, but just go dab for dab for dab for
set
dab
up a camera and we go live. Yeah, for an hour.
And just see who could beat. Like, what are we gonna do? Just straight half grammars just to get out of here, just to see if we could. I mean, like, how else do you really get zonked out? Like, if we did baby dabs, we could make it a whole hour. You know what I mean? We'd have to like.
Can't be baby.
We couldn't
dabs.
do baby dabs. We'd have to
Challenge
do like
accepted.
0.3s.
0.5.
Whoa. Whoa. Episode's over. 7 minutes later.
So this Saturday? No.
I don't have that much wax, but you know, and all in all, I just think cannabis, you know, all this stuff, all these like things, all we talked about today, it's just like the whole point of saying outdated was just like it is so user specific. What do you want? When are you smoking? What is the point? Like if you're just trying to get traditional, I'm stoned, then guess what? Like if you just want to feel effects, like feel weird, like that guy in Florida, all weed will hit you. But if you want specific effects and stuff, like there are different side effects. And that's why that other guy, he was very misinformed. So I'm so sorry to deal with that guy in Florida, you know. And that's what I was trying to say. If we were just smoking regs back in the day, I mean, he got me stoned. I don't know what type of stone, though. And that was me at 18,
good stone.
Only been smoking for a few months. You know what I mean? Nowadays, education's so broad. You can start that user off right. You can be like, oh, you have back pain? Let's start you off with something that'll help you sedatively. Like, right? You can start them off the right way. You don't have to go through the years of doing shitty wax and shitty weed, you know, like we did. Like, let's not say you have to do it that way anymore. You don't have to.
Come on, you don't want to do that wax that we had? That was like black tain. That was just so delicious. So delicious. Like nowadays we got.
I really like dab wars. I just think it'd be kind of like a funny like little thing between me and you, and just see who can out dab each other and out smoke each other. Like how would we out smoke each other too?
I'll supply the weed.
Dave's like full ass ounces. Let's go. Well, that's what I'm saying. You couldn't just smoke like gram joints. We'd have to do it like differently. We couldn't
Okay,
just smoke it
got
on
it,
pace.
got
We'd
it.
have to have
One
like
joint,
5
one-
minutes
no.
and for 1 gram. And every 5 minutes, you got to kill a gram.
No, I got it. One joint, one cone joint, one XL, one Swisher.
But if they're not
and on
timed,
a
you can take
backwood.
forever. But
No, we got an hour.
yeah, but if we went back and forth, I feel like we'd just be like,
Each our own
okay, now we're getting a little crazy. All right.
challenge.
What if
Go.
we also said who could finish first too? Because what if we both finish and then we're like, oh wow, that was exciting. You watched us smoke weed for an hour and then nothing happened.
Good point.
Bong
We gotta
rips
think of
have to
it.
be
We gotta think
involved.
about it. We gotta think about it.
Bong rips have to be involved.
Oh shit! All right.
That'd be sweet, actually.
Gas masks. It's like the not dab. I want to say the Olympics, but the Canna Olympics.
Just trying to figure out how we could
Just
do
have
that.
like every category. Edibles. No, because that I would lose right away. I would eat 50.
Yeah, but
I would
I
be
have
gone
some
for the day.
ideas.
I'd
Yeah,
be-
that's
I'd
kind
be
of a
gone
fun
for the
idea. We'll
day.
talk about Dab Wars or some type of like game. That's really a fun idea, T-Dub. I really like that. I might spin it a bit, but I think you'll enjoy it. I like that. That's cool. Hell yeah, that's a cool idea. That's fun. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in and checking us out as always. Groovy music everywhere. Groovy on Spotify. MyCannacast everywhere. Check out the website, please. MyCannacast.com.
Yeah, and if you want, our shop isn't working, but if you ever want swag, just hit us up in the DMs. We will just ship it out to you.
Yeah, meet you up with you.
Yeah, or
depending
meet
on
up
where you're
with
at.
you. So it's at mycannacast.com, and check that out. I'm going to be sending out some emails. So if you sign up for our emails, it'll just get you caught up on everything that we have. So if you miss anything, it'll just be right there. You can check it out. Eventually, we'll have some other stuff in it, but you can get that at mycannacast.com. It'll be a pop-up. So other than that, appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yep.
I got nothing else. Just check out tomorrow's episode. Look forward to seeing you all on Saturday morning for the Wake and Bake. And as always, Groovy,
We're here to advocate
educate.
and inspire.
Till next time, y'all. Peace.
Peace.